broad jump has been explained to me by a lot of personnel that it's probably the most specific test there is. You know, horizontal power relates to so many things in football, and that's really all it does. It's a true expression of horizontal power. The only rule really is when you go through the descend or the ascend of the jump before your feet leave the ground, you can't shuffle your feet, you gotta remain planted. And then once you jump out and your feet stick, you have to stick to landing. You cannot fall backwards and you cannot fall forwards either. You do a box broad jump, the broad jump, just to get that pure expression of horizontal power, but at the same time soften the landing. You know, the landing does go through an excessive joint load that you don't want to repeat over and over again. You know, you want to be able to actually execute the form on a broad jump without the impact and the joint load of the land. So what better way than to soft land by jumping up onto a box? It's that simple. It's identical to the exercise we did for the vertical jump in terms of linear box jump, except for now we're going to take the box height down a little bit, about this height, and we're going to stand further back. So it's going to technically be a broad jump with height up onto the box. So a box this height, we're going to back up anywhere between 3 and 5 feet. So Mark is going to demonstrate this one approximately 3 to 4 feet away. Feet position being about hip width apart. The arms starting up with the body fully erect in terms of the hips, the knees, and the ankles have no bend in it. Then it's going to be a rapid arm action down with the hands clearing the hip. Then at the bottom of the deep knee bend, you drive your arms forward, the hips will follow, then you're going to be jumping up and onto the box. The only difference in the arm action is now after you come out of your descent and into your ascent, you're going to kind of put your arms out and up a little bit and let your hips just follow your arms up onto the box. And remember, the arms will always lead the hips on the descend and up into the jumping action. Okay, good. You notice how his forward projection of his hips, so it's not necessarily just a vertical. Now we're looking for more horizontal plus vertical power. There's no correct progression. It's micro progression within what that person is able to do at that particular moment. So if they can safely land on a box, that is the proper distance. You know, I'd say on average, we typically start people out about 3 feet away from the box and up onto about a 35 to 40 inch box. And then we micro progress the box up and their distance back. Again, arm action will lead the hips. Jump up and onto the box. Try to do it a couple times a week because you're going to soften the load. It's not going to be a lot of joint loading. It'll be great for technique. You know, keep the rep range between 1 and 3. The landmine linear jammer is definitely a favorite exercise of mine because it's a great way to load and be able to micro progress through an external load of horizontal power. You know, if you look at the landmine linear jammer itself and you look at Mark execute this on film, you look at when he drops his knee down, it looks very, very similar to the base of the jump, you know, the full hip, knee, and ankle flexion of the jump itself before he explodes into his jump. The landmine is this sleeve here we actually have attached to the rack, but they can also be that sleeve that fits into the bar can also be on a ground plate. And the combat handle attached here, which is a very, very inexpensive, easy way to train linear power, okay? So we have the bar fitting into the landmine sleeve, we have the plate. Now when we do our linear jammer, we obviously need a little bit of room in between the plate and the combat handle, so we just fit a simple PVC pipe. So in terms of the setup, Mark's gonna pick up the combat handle, put it right on his shoulders, okay? Then you wanna find a good lean in order to get that linear position. So notice how the combat handles are in his hands, sets up on his shoulders. He's gonna back up about 45 to 60 degrees. Then when I say set, he's gonna drop down into a squat position, getting the knees as close to the ground as possible. When I say hit, he's gonna explode forward, just like the broad jump or the box broad jump we just demonstrated, and the acceleration of his hips is gonna pop his hands out into an extension. So perfect start position, set, hit. Good. So I like it a lot because you can overload the system, you know, and the energy transfer that is created from the hips can be extended out and transferred to the arms. It's very similar to when you do a broad jump, you're trying to hold your arms up and out as long as you can, even into the descend before you land. So I think it's great for the joint loads, it's great to micro progress an external load, and it's phenomenal for the energy transfer from the hips all the way through the upper body extending out. Walk back with the handles on the shoulders, good 45-degree lean, hit! I like to hit that about once a week, and I like to keep the rep range, again, about that 4 to 5, just maybe even 6 range, because I really want to try to micro progress and load it up as much as possible over the course of the overall program. We'll do one more rep, bring it to the shoulders, get the lean, set, hey, and relax. But for the specifics of the broad jump, that loaded horizontal power cannot be understated in terms of its importance. Another exercise great for the broad jump is the elevated back lunge. I think it's just a great single leg strengthening exercise. Now, there's a lot of single leg strengthening exercises that you can do that would help you in the broad jump or any other athletic motion. The elevated back lunge is definitely a favorite of mine because from the back of the position, you're actually accelerating your hips forward, number one. The other thing is the joint load on the back leg is extremely important. I like that reflex and that stretch you get through the ankle joint on the back leg. And if you elevate it, you can actually drop your back knee below the front foot.
What's going to happen is Pete's going to stand up on the plate, both feet together. He's going to set himself under that bar. He's going to lock his elbows here. Once that bar is secure, both feet on the plate. Make sure he's on a plate so he can drop that foot. That knee's going to be below the front foot. So Pete's got to step back, fill full of air, step back, absorb the blow, tap, and accelerate forward. As he accelerates forward, he's going to make sure that the chest doesn't sink, okay? Absorb the blow, lock the ankle, absorb the blow, tap the knee, accelerate it forward, make sure his shoulders do not come forward, he does not collapse the chest, that's it.
So, the elevated back lunge is great for just pure single leg strengthening, which is very important. Plus, I like that reflex you get through the hip and the ankle because you're forced to drop into a back lunge. And it's easy to micro progress in terms of the external load, which is the weight on your back.
Reverse lunge, tap, lock the ankle, step forward. That's it. Tap the knee, step all the way forward. A couple more. Nice job. Lock the ankle, absorb the blow, accelerate forward.
I like to keep my rep range from 5 down to 3, really try to load it up and build pure maximal strength. The seated band hamstring curl was an exercise that we chose to demonstrate for this video series because it's very simplistic and it's easy to control. But at the same time, you have to be able to control pure knee flexion without a lot of external things like hip flexion, hip extension getting in the way of what you're trying to accomplish.
So Pete's going to sit up straight on this bench right here. He's going to lock his hands. He's in a perfect ergonomic position. He's going to curl that band in. He's going to have absolutely no pelvic tilt whatsoever. He's going to squeeze that band in a controlled manner. Squeeze, he lets it out in a controlled manner. He locks the ankle all the way out, full extension. It comes all the way back in. He's going to try to minimize knee lift.
The band is very easy to set up. You just take the band, wrap it around or loop it around any type of a post like the outside of the rack like we were doing, and then micro progression would just be limiting the distance where you go. You can even move the band up or down. When you move the band down, you're creating a different type of moment arm, which could add some more resistance. But typically we like to set the band up about hip level because it's easy to control, loop the band around your leg, and then as you come back, you're actually varying the load because you're coming into more band resistance as you're getting into more and more knee flexion.
All the way in, all the way out, full extension. No pelvic tilt, he's sitting up straight, great posture. All the way in, squeeze.
This exercise can be done prone on a machine or prone with a partner. We chose the band because it's you don't need a lot of equipment. Anybody can buy a very inexpensive band and just set it up as long as they're in the proper ergonomic position, as long as they understand it's all about isometrically controlling your pelvis, because you don't want the pelvis to shift, which would be taking away from what you're really trying to accomplish, what the goal of the exercise is, and that is just to strengthen your knee flexors.
That's great. All the way in, all the way out. Couple more reps. Squeeze, hold.
So you might only be getting like 6 to 8, even 10 reps, but your tempo might be 2-3-2, like 2 seconds in, a 3-second pause, and 2 seconds out. Anything that's going to increase the time under tension within a particular workout. Broad jump is very simple. It's horizontal power expression, and horizontal power is more specific to motions in football than vertical power. Vertical power is very general, horizontal power is very specific. So if you look at just a pure acceleration step, that is an expression of horizontal power. So there's no rhyme or reason on can your broad jump increase draft stock? It may or may not. But the way I look at it is, why not just go ahead and train for it? Because you might be neck and neck with another player in every single category. When it comes down to athleticism, that might nudge you up. And if it nudges you up, that might be one draft spot, it might be 2 full rounds, depending on all the teams picking behind you. So you never know how the draft's gonna unfold, so you might as well get every single question answered. And pure athleticism is just one of those questions. These exercises we do down here at Bommarito Performance Systems will definitely help you make massive gains in terms of your broad jump. And be sure to check out the rest of the football training series here on Bodybuilding.com.
Come on. So dance while I put you in a trance. Let's party, peace, and equality. Let's stay together, let's live in harmony. Time, the new astrology. Kick the nation with the groove, then we rock the place when the bass gets moved. What you got to say, what you got to say.